Bear with us while we prepare our broadcast for you. My sister killed by proxy. She couldn't get me, so she took other people. It's herself that she's trying to kill. Look at this. She took other people hostage because she is herself a hostage of her own conflicts. Really a pathological personality. Very sad. Very sad. I'm a titan. Nobody can really bring me down, even if they close off the internet. If they shut the internet down from balance of gender, they'll have a dead planet very quickly. It'll happen very quickly.
None. No. What? I should have said, oh, so beautiful. So beautiful. People need to see what I've seen. They need to see.
These are the spiritual as much as physical voyages of the Co-Federation Solar Sun, our starship planet Earth, restored to heaven on our and every earth as our spiritual, genealogical, local, global, universal voyager in shared her and his family community enterprise. Our new millennial year's mission to rediscover and re-understand, sustain, and explore are and all are in fact familiar new worlds of family community, of the tree of love, life, and light throughout the solar system and universe, to restore, renew, and sustain our and new life and new sustainable civilizations, past, present, retroactively, and now, rebalance, and future, always balancing, to lovingly, genealogically, and boldly become and be space-time travelers whenever and where we have interdimensional reality, all in part been before, if also never been before, in alternative space-time lines that are circles, which are of the universal EQ, IQ, and SQ continuum. Balance, combinations of the ever-expanding circle which spirals and grows, budding and blooming in space-time. Love and live enlightened, ever young, long, and prosper all both in each and every one. Engage your heart, mind, soul, and body, for we all, both in each, and each both in all, can, must, and marvelously and miraculously make it so.
In a thunderous blast, she emerges, her eyes on fire, the mighty priestess. She is risen from the nativity of Caldera. She is risen from the fires of the earth. She is risen. She is risen.
We are risen.
She is risen. She is risen.
We are risen.
We all are risen by my intercession.
Blessed be, blessed be, blessed be. Om Mahalakshmi Mridapriya Maharupa Mahapudya Mahapadaknashini Mahamaya Mahasattva Mahashakti Maharati Mahabhuta Maheshwarya Mahavidya Mahabala Mahabuddhi Mahasiddhi Mahayogeshwareshwari Mahatantra Mahamantra Mahayantra Mahasana Mahayagatkramaradhya Om Mahabhairava-pujita Maheshwara Mahakalpaka Mahatandava Sakshini Mahakaveshamati Mahatripura Sundari Chatushshashti Upacharādhya Chatushshashti Kalamayi Mahachatushshashti Koti Yogini Ganasevita So that's your limit. No. What's describe? I should have said poet.
Our family is filled with poetesses and poets, and I represent them all upon their representation of themselves as co-hostesses and co-hosts coming to these broadcasting. This day I call the heavens and the earths as witnesses intercessorily for and hopefully and prayerfully not against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose love and life with light, so that you and your children may live. For I give you good doctrine, forsake ye not your, our new millennial law.
Okay. Another patricia. Ladies made sunflowers for austerity and blacksmith. This is Anna Marie singing Christmas, and I am Cherokee, Cheyenne, Blacksmith, and Anahuac, Dakota, and I am also a French, English, and German. Usually, that means we are all related. We embrace the new millennial golden rule as the law of Alltimate of the sacred ground that is Mother Earth, and all the planets of all the universes.
Welcome to our Starry Hours broadcast. Starry Times broadcast. We broadcast a number of times a day. We try to do 3 during the day and 1 or 2 in the Starry Hours. We've been a little bit backing up on a lot of tasks that we need to do to bring excuse me, to bring the new millennial golden rule to the children of the planet Earth in time for them to stop destroying themselves. We have in North America a culture that has become, in a word, depraved. It is a combination of extreme thumping of the chest, male domination of alpha males, and profound abandonment of the feminine by women. The women of this country of North America, too many of them have taken one of these 2 paths, either the path of a toy, a cosmeticized toy, or the path of a drone that imitates men in order to be among them. Both of these female adjustments reflect extreme mother wound and father hunger, a psychological state that occurs among women at end-stage patriarchy. It is not normal. It is not sustainable. And it is destroying the fabric of North American life, and giving in its effects enormous problems around this planet. How dare Americans watch television that does not tell them that now, if ties are counted, their land ranks 94th in the world in representation for women. The women of this country are literate. Many of them are reasonably comfortable materially. You tell me, what is the excuse? I can tell you what the reason is. Mind programming by mass media. These women are women under the influence. They are drunk with advertising, drunk with pseudo-elections, drunk with lies. Their life has become a lie. Their relationships with each other have become degraded, superficial, and lacking in any adult responsibility toward one another and toward one another's children and families. The men of this culture are completely out to lunch. Some of them think that all you have to do is have a society with men on top and everything will fall into place. Just like they did under Stalinist Russia and Hitlerian Germany. Really fell into place, didn't it? Or Pol Pot, or right now Kim Il-jung. That's really fallen into place, isn't it? Just because the dictatorship is a corporate one that advertises with pleasant little jingles does not make it any less of a humanity destructive assemblage. The amazing thing is the women in the media. That is the phenomenon of many millennia to watch this game. Women who get up and interview man after man after man after man and ignore their own gender. In fact, the example that I have to give, even though we have so many examples of this, Katie Couric and all these women who have so-called made it in the media. But the one that I feel most fascinated with occurred in a more progressive broadcast. It was a couple of years ago. Thom Hartmann, who is a kind of a left-wing broadcaster, very intelligent man, who was being broadcast on RT television, Russian TV, to American audiences, played an excerpt of Archbishop Desmond Tutu, Exanthe's husband, saying to the world that what we needed was a revolution among women because men had made a mess of things. The segment of him saying that to the, I believe it was the Davos gathering of the World Economic Forum, was played. And then Thom Hartmann asked a woman who is a member of the media of RT, Lauren Leister is her name, a young woman, to comment on this. Lauren White Leister was wearing a plunging neckline outfit, very clinging top, and said, that's kind of interesting. However, what's important is what the leaders of the Davos Forum are talking about among the daily reports of problematic economic forecasting. She absolutely made no comment about the need for women. It went completely by her. She changed the subject and went right on with her superficial reports. because she is an example of what many women in this culture have going on in their heads. They hate themselves, they package themselves, and they hate one another. Because their self-esteem is based on trying to fit in with what they have experienced, which is patriarchy. And when they have an opportunity to transform that, to break out of that mind-forged manacle, many of them are so ill, like young Lauren Leister, that it goes completely by them. They don't even see it. It's an elephant in their living room that they don't talk about their own gender and its importance. These women are walking time bombs. They are walking time bombs. They go to work. They work usually at a corporation or an office where it's either the highest officer is a male or a woman who answers to some males in some other related structure. There is no such thing in North America of a fully free of genderist hierarchy place until you go into the people who have gone off grid. And there are a lot who have. People who have stopped paying their taxes, gone off grid, and are no longer voting. These people have a reasonable moment of freedom. They have understood that their society has gone off the deep end. It is crazy. What you watch on television is mental illness. But since the population, like frogs boiled in hot water slowly, has been slowly, cumulatively deprived of information about gender parity, many people don't know that this has happened to them. Their minds are gone. They are like little pieces of putty. They're very malleable because they don't have a balance of yin and yang operating within their psyche. They don't have it. They think to be female is to be cosmeticized. They think to be male is to put yourself first at all times. Does this make any sense? I'm really shocked at what has happened to North Americans, to tell you the truth. But I see how it was a cumulative process. It's a large landmass area. There's a lot of geographical diaspora. Mothers are separated from daughters. Sisters and sister cousines are separated from one another. Colleagues and classmates who knew each other over an extended time will lose contact because of the geographical diaspora quality of North American life. There's a lot of moving around in this culture, too much. And I made that error myself. And it's one of the reasons that my family is not functioning well to co-lead with me. It is the main reason. They lost the heart of being, which is to love your family in a fair and loving way that does not prefer one gender over another, but loves them all. Now, because I cannot do that, most of the members of my family completely avoid each other. There are small little cliquish groups where a male dominates. And the women otherwise ignore the entire family tree, and so do the men. To tell you about my feelings about this, I cannot find the words to tell you how depraved this is. But I know that each and every one of these people has the heart light within them, and budding, blooming flowers, marvelous and miraculous, growing within them. No matter how suppressed, no matter how truncated, no matter how distracted and deranged, these are there within everybody. Because Goddess God puts them into you. Puts them into everybody. So with a little energy directed with a little bit of light, we can reclaim our more divine aspects. We can reclaim divine democracy. What is divine democracy? It is the recognition that the light of the Goddess God is in every person, and when they make their decisions together in full presence, the result is better than if they defer and delegate it, especially to old men. Patriarchy is planeticide. Parity partnership is paradise on this and every planet. We have the way to give you eternal youth, eternal life, and open the stargates. For you to regain your contact with the souls of people who have lived on this planet and are, in fact, in the Akashic record, awaiting for your reconnection with them where they are on other planets. They are there. The universe is very, very large. People do not die into nothingness. They go somewhere. They are there. But they cannot connect with you and become fully risen embodied beings until you recognize the folly of patriarchy, until you are advanced enough to be heavenly within yourself. You can't be a beast at the same time you're beautiful. You can't be a beast and beauty at the same time. You have to choose one or the other. Beauty within the self of both women and men. The beautiful, the beneficial. Or do you pick patriarchal hierarchy? A thumping alpha male, well, I'm going to do this, and we're going to do this, and I'm going to give this speech, and I'm going to give that speech. With their adoring, enabling ditz-wives. Oh, I wore a Dior gown to my husband's speech. I don't have a mind of my own. But I admire my husband so much. Right into World War III. Turn off television. Turn off the television. Go to 5050now.wordpress.com. Read the New Millennial Golden Rule. The New Millennial Golden Rule has 5 pillars, essential ingredients or components. The first is the Panchayat Raj, or the village rule, which is already the law of over 500 million people in the Indus region in India. It is part of the Indian Constitution now. It was the gift of Kasturba Kapadia and Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Amma and Mahatma Gandhi, Kapadia Gandhis. And their children and next generations and relations, especially Rajiv Gandhi, with at the time the assistance of Sonia Maino Gandhi. Before she fell back, she retreated and fell back into patriarchy and accepting patriarchy after a great deal of effort to try to overcome it with vast, long sit-ins in the Lok Sabha of India, the Indian Parliament. The reason she failed was because American media completely suppressed the telling of what was going on there. They infiltrated the corporate model of India, and especially in the urban centers. They convinced people that consumerism was better than cooperation. As a result, India is now a big mess. It's got more and more attention to weaponry, less and less attention to people again. They're trying to go solar to their credit. They at least figured that piece out. North Americans haven't figured that out. But they can't move quickly enough because the old men are thumping their chests in their boardrooms too, and on their media too. And the extreme wisdom of this goddess-worshipping culture is diluted on television. So they're having their problems because of our problems in North America. We contaminated them with our stupidity. Their risks are extreme. They have nuclear weapons, and so does their next door neighbor, Pakistan. Why it's 2 countries instead of 1? Because sectarianism is a part of patriarchy. And when alpha males rule, people cannot make peace. Look at the Middle East. Bomb, shot, capture, threaten. Where are the women? They're ignored in the American press. When the Egyptian women tried to get the Egyptian Women's Charter during the Tahrir Revolution, under the advice of her CEO boardroom, Christian Amanpour edited out that section of Nama el-Sadawi's discussion of what was happening with the Tahrir Revolution. They took it right out. They censored it right out. Not a word about the Egyptian Women's Charter, which was a parity, an attempt at parity. They were asking for 40% women as a minimum in every aspect of government. Completely censored by not only the male boardroom, but by a complicit woman of the media with her electrocomplex internalized patriarchy, went right along with it. If she had had some integrity, she would have quit over it, wouldn't she have? And shouted it to the house, to the rooftops, that had been exerted as a pressure on her. A decent human being would have died for that truth. But she just caved in and edited it out. I say to you, I am your true mother. I am the risen Astrea, the goddess priestess of Atlantis. I am also the personification of many other women of the Bible and many other women throughout her in history of our planet. They have come together in me. And I'm here to guide you back to the light. You must have gender parity yesterday. And why do I say yesterday instead of just today? I say now, but now includes yesterday. Because when you get to a more advanced state of thinking, you understand that you can misinterpreted her in history. There is a marvelous book called Who Cooked the Last Supper? A Woman's Herd History of the World by Rosalind Miles. She's an excellent authoress. She lives in a terrible place in England, which is now trying to dismantle the European Union and all its progress on gender, because the governmental apparatus there is profoundly big brothered. And they don't know what they're doing. And the fact that the European Union hasn't quite achieved gender parity has opened the door to this monster that is going to destabilize that entire region. Humanity, you are looking toward disaster. I am your light. I am your redeemer. I am your deliverer. Until you can co-deliver with me. the new millennial golden rule. So the Panchayat Raj is the first component. 50-50 decision making in the way it is in India, it's every village. I have simply transformed that to every neighborhood on the face of the planet Earth. Every love and respect thy female and male neighborhood on the planet Earth. And other planets too. We'll get there too. And the second component is the genuine progress indicator. That is already the law of the state of Maryland. Maryland understands that we live in a time when you can collect data, bring them into a computer model, and come up with a graph or a chart of actual progress that is not a dollar bill, not a money figure, but is a picture, a hologram of actual progress, the well-being of the people who live in the region. That is real wealth. It contains 26, and I say with parity it's 27 indicators of balance in a society. It counts the unpaid work of all people, which is 2/3 done by women, 1/3 done by men. It counts education. It counts such things as the freedom of having to wait in traffic to drive around to get somewhere. The use of, as most important, the use of renewable energy, stewardship of the environment, and social variables that show that people are being educated, that they are learning, that they are not drifting into crime and abuse and other forms of horror that occur because the gross domestic product requires that they occur. Because the gross domestic product counts nonsense as wealth. If you bash in someone's car fender and they go to, because you're drinking, and then you and your insurance company pay to have that fender fixed, the fact that you're drinking is never assessed in this model of the gross domestic product. And it's counted as wealth. It's counted as economic gain. So the more people that bash each other's fenders because they're drinking, looks like progress to the gross domestic product. It counts nuclear bomb manufacture as progress. It's crazy. It thinks like an ape. So that's why the genuine progress indicator, which is already in use in Maryland, has been pre-tested in 11 lands and visited with a big conference by 25 of the jurisdictions within North America, in use in many provinces as well as on the legislative agenda, but stuck there in many of the states of North America because they are male-dominated and they are puppets of corporations who are very, 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 very male-dominated. So we're all sitting here while the old guys thump, 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 and the ladies go, "How high can I jump, honey?" So that's the second component. And the third component is the circle process. And this is, I have discovered, the most difficult. The circle process is an ancient process that indigenous people use to make decisions and to confer with one another. It requires that the people assemble in a circle and one person speaks until they have completed their thoughts, and they let the person next to them know it's now their turn, and it goes around the circle and around the circle as many, many times as is needed to discuss the matter at hand. To me, in my giving you light, the matter at hand is gender parity. and all the intersectional justice that comes with that. The restoration to not being indebted to youth, and freedom from being conscripted to play roles as gun fodder in their father's wars. And the freedom to discuss gender parity as it brings balance of love and work back to the people who are what we call parents. Parents and their other extended family who also have to be very involved. Not disengaged, like they have nothing to do with them, but involved in the lives of the other young people of their family. The aunts and the uncles need to be involved with their nieces and nephews. You need to be able to form a circle. Our culture has decimated that. Children in this culture are regarded as the property of their parents. There is no fabric of family and community life around many, many children. They don't experience anybody other than their parents and the television. There is no community. As a result, these kids are growing up to be bullies and bystanders. They're mentally deranged by the time they get to school. Their teachers don't know how to teach them. We have a lot of talking to do in the circle process, but what I have discovered is that is the most difficult for people to do, especially women. Women have a more sensitive nature than men. And when they say something that one or the other disagrees with, because they have inculcated low self-esteem from living so long in patriarchy, they're very, very quick to take umbrage or slight with one another, and their conversations shut down. You see this over the telephone all the time. The women are hanging up all the time on each other. It is a sign of mental illness and breakdown. It is a sign of severe internalization of patriarchy and profound low self-esteem, and therefore low other esteem, because people who cannot esteem themselves cannot be generous and kind to other people. They can only be throwing them away, avoiding them, running away from them. So this is going on in our culture, like a pandemic wildfire. It's eating this culture up alive. We have to change it quickly, and the way to do that is the new millennial golden rule. Now I've given you the conceptual components. The other components are spiritual. You, as a divine being, namaste, you carry this to everyone you know. And particularly if you're a woman, talk about it in depth with the women that you know. And then also gather with the women and talk about it with your youth, age 37 and younger, female and male, so that they are not sucked in to this maelstrom, M-A-L-E-S, maelstrom, that patriarchy has become. And, but also discuss it with men and ask older men to confront what Desmond Tutu described, that the men have made a mess of things. But it isn't the men alone. It is the enabling female that allows that to occur. Patriarchy, as Bell Hooks, who is my contemporary and born in the same date as I am, as Bell Hooks, Gloria Jean Watkins wrote, patriarchy is beyond gender. Women internalize patriarchy too. And then they become really time bombs. The studies show that in families, because children expect men to be a little bit more selfish and patriarchal, it is what the mother does and what she communicates to their children that determines currently whether or not this child will be genderist and sexist, or whether they will be egalitarian and respectful to the female. The mothers are the last bastion, and in North America they have fallen. The mothers in the United States are sick They don't even have family leave. They're very sick. They're so sick that all they can do is focus on a narrow little local issue that is likely tearing their town apart with wrong ecological impact or social impact. They can focus on that, but they can't focus on global parity. They're having trouble doing that because their minds are half gone. You have to be aware, everybody, that the women of North America have been mind programmed and they are walking around like zombies. I need to wake you up by telling you the truth of that. The women of this culture are not functioning. They are avoiding one another and avoiding the issue of parity. There are exceptions, though, and there are some women who have done great work in this area and have a reasonably good following of women and men who recognize the importance of what they're saying. But the vast numbers of American people who are watching television have become vapid and zombie-like, and they are literally like lemmings walking over the cliff that patriarchy makes for them. They are destroying their planet, and they're letting it happen. That's why these broadcasts are so necessary and why I look forward to bringing in, again, more co-hostesses and co-hosts. I've had some co-hostesses, but not as often as I'd like. I have a lot of work to do to get the information out to you. If I don't do it, not only the women and their youth and the children and every minority and all the people of the world will tank, the old men of the boardrooms will also tank right along with them. They are going down too. Tell me, how does a penthouse protect you from a nuclear bomb? It doesn't. You have destabilized the world, old men. You have made a mess of things. You need to get out of the boardroom and go spend many, many weeks and months working in homeless shelters, and especially hugging your own grandchildren and your wives and your sisters and your mothers and your cousines with respect, not with lascivious intention, and appreciating them according to the genuine progress indicator, and writing a letter to all of the people that your corporation served. Dear people, our boardroom has been mostly old men for a very long time. We apologize for practicing patriarchy. It is a killer. We recognize it now. Very simple. These are very simple things that I give for you to do, and they can be done, and your life will be abundantly better. You will have eternal life on this and all planets, and you will become relatively stress-free and therefore naturally eternally young. This is very simple, and you can read about it at the logic tree that's also on the website. Go to 5050now.wordpress.com. These are the days the earth stood still. They better. I have to try to at least be a small piece of pink chewing gum that stops the juggernaut, the bulldozer over humanity that patriarchy is, to reflect upon the imagery of a very beloved members of my family dream, my sister's dream. I need to protect all of the women who have internalized patriarchy and the men from the interaction that they're doing with each other and how that's impacting their youth, which is very much threatening our youth, female and male. I pray for you all. I ask Mother, Father, Goddess, God every day to protect you, and I hope that they will. I'm going to stop the broadcast now and look forward to seeing you in a number of hours again.